today me and my group members, which is Salma, Izzati, Aisy, Alias, Aiman and Syauqi, are going to present about our wealth planning for Gazi's portfolio for his future. So, first of all, wealth planning management is the process of managing a person's financial resources in order to achieve their long-term goals and objectives. This can include creating a budget, investing, managing debt, creating saving plans, and developing a comprehensive strategy to grow and protect a person's wealth. It also involves tax planning and estate planning, which help to minimize tax liability and ensure that assets are passed on in accordance with the individual's wishes. It also includes risk management and insurance planning. Professional advisors such as financial planners, accountants, and attorneys often help with the process of wealth planning management. There are several advantages of wealth planning management, which includes budgeting. By creating a budget, individuals can identify areas where they may be overspending and make adjustments to save more money and better manage their finances. Other than that, wealth management gives peace of mind. By having a wealth plan in place, an individual can have a peace of mind knowing that their finances are in order and they are on track to achieve their financial goals and objectives. Overall, wealth planning management will help individuals to take a holistic approach to manage their finance, which can lead to a greater financial security and success over the long term.
Assalamualaikum and hello. I bid to Professor Umaima and my beloved classmate. So my name is Syauqi. So I'm going to talk about the client profile and the client portfolio or investment portfolio. So first of all, we're going to look at the client profile, which is about Gazi. So Gazi, at the age of 35 years old, working in the Society General de Surveillance (SGS) in Malaysia, with a monthly income 20,000 ringgit per month. She have with a contribution of EPF 12%, and he gain a benefit of medical insurance only for employees. It means he only have a medical coverage only for himself. So Gazi have 3 spouses, which is his wife Fadilah and 2 children, Hana at the age of 4 and Suzy at the age of 1, which is a baby. So and then to cover up the personality for Gazi itself, so Gazi is a risk taker, and his objective of personality, he talked to us that he wanted to make a big wealth, which is a big subjective, in 20 years before he retired. So he maybe want to retire early from the average people that retire in Malaysia is about 60 years old. So he wanted to maybe to retire at the age of 55. So for the expense that he used, so he paid a married rental in a condominium that he lives in Ampang, which is about 2,000 per month. So he also have an asset which is located overseas in Pakistan, where he gain profit or income 30 years 1,000 ringgits per year. So that is his other income and an asset which is housed in Pakistan. And then moving on to his wife is Fadilah. Fadilah at the age of 30 years old, working in a Saiful International School. So he maybe work as a teacher or maybe as a management or administrative, and with the monthly income of 3,500 ringgit per month. He doesn't gain any benefit or any information about the EPF contribution about her statement. So Gazi and Fadilah have a joint expense, which can be very for monthly expense, which is cover up for the grocery, maybe for transportation, touch and go, foods, vacation and many more, which vary from with the range of 8,000 ringgit Malaysia to 10,000 ringgit Malaysia per month. So they both cover up for Fadilah parents as they pay medication a year which total up 7,000 ringgit per year. And then Fadilah have two assets. First assets in Gombak, which is apartment, as he gain a rental profit or income about 1.5 thousand ringgit Malaysia. And also he has a land which worth value for about 400,000 ringgit Malaysia that have been gifted by her grandmother. So, and then moving on to our investment portfolio, which is after taking out using his personality and objective. So as been said before, Gazi is a risk taker, and his objective for this investment has been said, he want to make a big wealth 20 years before he retired. So looking at this kind of criteria, these two both objective and his characteristic, so we believe that we're going to propose the aggressive investment using the growth portfolio. So the growth portfolio itself is aimed to promote growth by taking greater risks, which including in a growing industry. So, and when we've combined with aggressive investment, so I've been saying greater risk come with a great return. So as aggressive investors are going to seek out companies that are in their early stage of their growth that have a unique value proposition. So they're going to invest more on this company before it become a big or become a famous company in the future. So for the asset allocation, we divide it into three kind of category for the asset allocation or for the investment allocation. So equity hold the huge amount of percentage or the majority in the investment side is about 75%. So equity can be divided into several products such as common share, equity mutual fund, preferred share return, and preferred share or return earnings. So for example, the growth company that are pricing currently in Malaysia, maybe a company called Paywash. So you can buy the share now, maybe at a less value, maybe 10 ringgit or 1.5 ringgit per share, and this share might going to increase drastically. Or maybe for the 10 years coming, his values increase huge. And then we're going to put 10% of the investment allocation in the fixed income. So fixed income can be vary with treasury bond, corporate bond, and certificate of deposit. So I already look up for the certificate of deposit. For example, we have CMB. They offer an investment or certificate of deposit in a foreign currency. It means that you need to have a requirement of minimum 10,000 Malaysia, and you're going to put that inside the deposit for the CMB. So in simple terms, that you mean that you invest your money in a different currency. You can choose what currency that you want. You can choose USD dollar, Euro, and money more. And then the last 10% that we're going to use, we're going to put inside community categories. So community category has been, in a simple definition, community category is a basic good that being used in trade that can be exchanged for other items of the same kind. So for the majority of time, commodity are being used as a raw material to create other products. So commodity can be divided into two. We have a hard commodity, energy, such as energy, precious metals such as gold, diamond, and many more. And then we have a soft commodity, which is mostly that being used daily, maybe for livestock, meat, agriculture, food, that maybe ingredient, vegetable that you eat every single day. So the justification why I use this kind of category inside the investment portfolio is, first of all, So for equity, so looking up for the objective for making a big wealth in 20 years, so equity propose or have the benefit for a great long-term investment, and yeah, it can be said as suitable to build wealth for a long-term period. So when purchasing and making investment in several companies, so several company doesn't mean that you need to invest only in one industry. You can invest on different companies or different industry, so you can diversify your risk among this company with a different industry. So and then for fixed income, we have why I choose 50% for fixed income investment, because fixed income provide a consistent income source with a low risk. So normally we're going to fixed income, normally we're going to invest on bank. So normally bank can be say a bit secure investment, because the bank itself want to make a profit either from buying share of that company, because we never know what fraud are going to make, what mistake, what damage are going to be for to the company itself. And then for the last one is a community, which is the last 10%. So why? Because this kind of community perform very well during high inflation period. So for example, living in Malaysia itself, we have high inflation for the past 2-3 years. Our currency in Ringgit Malaysia having dropped compared to USD dollar. So when you're investing, for example, precious metals such as gold, so as you can see that gold, when you have a lower when you have your inflation increases, so the price of money that you need to have to buy maybe a gram, 100 gram of gold increases. So when investing on this kind of thing, mean that you can counterfeit with the inflation itself, so your money worth are going to be increases as the inflation increases, because to counter the inflation is not on us, it depends on the country. And for example, in Malaysia, we have Bank Negara Malaysia to handle the inflation. So we have the best individual, we need to propose a different idea on how to use that kind of benefit, or what kind of situation that going to benefit us. So then I'm going to pass to my friend.
Hi everyone, I'm Karimah. So based on this scenario given, as a financial advisor regarding Miss Fadilah Wakafish, we would suggest her to straight away wakaf the total amount of her land to the wakaf institution. But there are some requirements in creating a valid wakaf that Fadilah need to follow in order to avoid any difficulties in future. So in order Fadilah to wakaf her land, she must follow this requirement. So the primary requirement for wakaf is that Ms. Fadilah must reach the minimum age, and the most important is she must be the owner of the property. And the second requirement is Fadilah must state that the property given is a movable property or immovable property. And the third requirement is Ms. Fadilah has to appoint a trustee to handle the wakaf process, followed by appointing the beneficiary, which is the person who will get the benefit from the property. And it can be either family members or society. And the final requirement is the creation of the wakaf can be in verbal or written form. And in Malaysia, the wakaf property have to be registered first before it can be fully utilized. So there's a two-step for the recognition of wakaf land, which is first to be registered at the State Islamic Religious Council, which is SIRC, and the second one is registered at Land Office. And these two entities is responsible for managing things related to wakaf. So to ensure that wakaf land by Fadilah could be utilized in any way that is possible to contribute to the economy of Muslim community, We could find another alternative in gaining the fund to develop all the existing Waqf land. One of the methods is crowdfunding cash Waqf model, where all the Waqf institution may get to all the individuals who wants to make investment on the Waqf land. They may choose whether to continue investing in this model as donation-based crowdfunding or reward-based crowdfunding. So donation-based crowdfunding basically where people make an investment but they are not expecting for any return, while reward-based crowdfunding is where they are making an investment and they receive a tangible reward for the project. Like for example, the reward Waqf institution can give a reward like in the form of tax exemption or token of appreciation such as coupon, voucher, gift, and many more. In cash Waqf model, it involves two different parties, which is the Waqf institution and the one who wants to donate or be the crowdfunder. So the first step, Waqf institution will come up with their plan in developing Waqf land. So they may propose various types of projects such as like housing, hotels, business, premises, schools, and hospital or clinic in order to implement the project. So the Waqf institution need to choose the most potential Waqf land to do some screening process on that project. Then they will raise the funding from the crowdfunder. The second step is Waqf institution will upload the proposal of potential project to the web-based platform and social network. So in this case, Waqf institution can manage their own platform rather than they actually outsource from the external parties, and there will be a time frame for each project to collect the fund. So the third step, where the crowdfunder will choose the project that they want to invest or support, and they will choose the type of crowdfunding that they want, which is donation based or reward based. So the fourth step is when the crowdfunding transfer or send the money through payment gateway, the Waqf institution can have a collaboration with the financial institution to come up with this platform. So the fifth step arises when the fund needed for the project had hit the target. So the system will be updating the progress of the project. After that, the system will distribute the money to Waqf institution. Then the project needs to be started, and the institution have to track the progress of the project regularly and keep updating on the system until the project completed. Overall, we can say that this model helps our country in developing the Waqf land, where it can contribute to the improvement of the socio-economic condition of the society. With that, Waqf institution can actively involve in the establishment of education institutions, housing, business premises, and hospital. And by having crowdfunding cash Waqf model, the burden of the government can be reduced. Therefore, all the Waqf land, including Ms. Fadilah, would not be useless in the presence of crowdfunding cash Waqf model. That is all from me. I am going to pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I'm Salma. Okay, for my part, I will explain about Gazi and Fadilah's income and expenditure. It is important for us to know that the term of income is usually used to describe the regular payment of money that they will get or earn from their labor or investment. On the other hand, the amount of money that they pay out or spend is usually referred to an expenditure. For example, utility expenses, shopping, mortgage, rent payments, and other lifestyle decisions. In this case, we can see that both earn the income from the salary and rental house. Like Gazi earned 241,200 per year, while Fadilah earned 60,000, where if we combine together, they will get 301,200 per year. Next, for the expenditure, we calculate it per year. So basically, they spend 24,000 for the rental, 7,000 for the medication, 4,000 for the sport equipment, 600 for his own insurance, 108,000 for the other expenses, and 49,541 ringgit point 25 cents for the tax payment. And generally, the total of all expenses is 193,141 ringgit point 25 cents. From here, we can see that the balance is 108,058 ringgit point 75 cents after we deduct the expenditure with the income. As a financial advisor, there's one way that we can suggest to Gazi where he can do budgeting. There are a lot of benefits that he can get when he start the budget plan through income and expenditure. One of the reasons is because budgeting can help Gazi and his family find ways to save their money. Importantly, by listing down the income and expenditure in a form, Mr. Gazi can understand and clearly see their financial situation. Not only that, but he also can separate the expense, which is the priority and more important to settle first. As a financial advisor, we suggest Gazi do a 50, 30 and 20 budget as a place to start. For instance, 50% towards their needs like housing, basic facilities, insurance, childcare and loan. For the next 30% toward their wants like travel during holiday, gift for his children and wife, while the balance 20% towards their saving for his emergency fund or retirement. So that's all for my part. I'll pass next to Izzati.
Hi, I'm Izzati. So moving on to the next part. As a financial advisor, we suggest Mr. Gazi join a takaful planning product. Why? Because in this life, everyone has something or someone that is really important that they want to protect. Especially when once pass away, they wouldn't want their family to suffer. They surely want their family to live a comfortable life and not to be in a poverty. It is true that Mr. Gazi did put a lot of effort into providing a comfortable home and adequate food for his family. But is that sufficient? What happened to his family if he cannot support them any longer? Mr. Gazi must go above and beyond in these uncertain times to provide his family with the necessary protection. So, obtaining sufficient insurance or takaful coverage is one of the finest methods to protect his family. So, participating in family takaful would thus allow Gazi to leave a legacy for his next of kin. So basically, a family takaful policy might give financial security to your loved one. So, Gazi's family will receive a financial payment if something happens to him or his ability to generate an income. This can help to cover his family's daily living expenses until they get back into their feet. Therefore, as a financial advisor, we would recommend Gazi to join the Great Eastern I-Grade Generosity Family Takaful product, a flexible term plan that meets Gazi's future demands. Essentially, this product is a family takaful hibah in which the beneficiary receives a sum of money if the account holder suffers a misfortune. With I-grade generosity, Gazi and his family could enjoy the benefit of the various perks of and features of this product. So here we would like to give a quick look at the features that Mr. Gazi and his family could enjoy during the subscription to this family takaful product. First of all of these are the features that come together with I-grade generosity family takaful product, which are a flexible contribution and coverage term, high sum coverage, death benefit during Hajj or Umrah, total and permanent disability benefit, protection booster benefit, compassionate benefit, maturity benefit, child lien, and auto extension of coverage. So let's say Gazi participated in this plan. He will get to enjoy the protection booster benefit. So to say that the basic sum covered will be increased by 10% at the end of every fifth certificate year, up to 10 times. For example, in the first 5 years, the basic sum covered would be only 250,000 ringgit Malaysia. However, at the end of the 5th year, the amount for basic sum covered will be increased to 10%. So the new amount would be 275,000 ringgit Malaysia. And the next 5 years, it will increase again to 300,000 ringgit Malaysia. So basically, for every 5 years, the basic sum covered will increase for 10%, 10%, and 10%, up until 10 times. So Gazi can refer to the table for him to understand better. Moving on, if Gazi participated in I-Grade Generosity Family Takaful and he add an optional rider, which is I Accidental Death Benefit Term Rider, ADB, he can ensure that his wife is not financially burdened in the event of misfortune. The term rider here is not the rider that we know, like Foodpanda, GrabFood, or Shopee Food Rider, and etc. The term rider here refers to an optional coverage or feature that you add to your life insurance policy. So usually this rider will charge you an additional cost. So when Gazi add the rider, he can also name his wife as a beneficiary, the hibah recipient. So let's say that at the age of 50, Gazi died in a car accident during his business trip in London. In this case, his wife, Fadilah, would get 300,000 ringgit Malaysia of compensation. This is because the ADB protection is 100,000 ringgit Malaysia. There are 3 different situations if the account holder died in an accident. The first one is if the death accident happens in Malaysia, the beneficiary will receive 100% of ADB sum covered, which is 100,000 ringgit Malaysia. The second situation is when the account holder died in Malaysia because of the public convenience like bus, train, ferry, e-hailing vehicle, and etc. In this case, the beneficiary will get to receive 200% of ADB sum covered, which equal to 200,000 ringgit Malaysia. And for last situation, if the death accident happens outside Malaysia, 300% of ADB sum covered, which is equivalent to 300,000 ringgit Malaysia, will be received by the beneficiary. So that is why I state that Fadilah would receive 300,000 ringgit if any misfortune happened to Gazi when he's going to business trip overseas. Totaling up the benefit, the money received can be used for his family to adjust and adapt to with the changes and cope with such losses. So there's a saying goes like, you don't buy life insurance because you are going to die, but because those you love are going to live. So everything that I've been saying are some of the features of I-Grade Generosity Family Takaful product. And there are many more features of this product that Gazi and his family can enjoy. Next is this is an example of submission for family takaful hibah. So assuming that Gazi choose a basic plan of death, TPD, benefits with a coverage duration of 25 years without adding any rider, he will be required to make a monthly contribution of around 71 ringgit and 45 cents. So next we will move on to the next part that will be explained by Salma. Thank you.
Thank you, Izzati, for the explanation about takaful planning. So back to me, I will continue with real estate investment trust or non-S REITs. We know that many people believe that they are good at generating money, but only few of them know how to manage it effectively and efficiently. As a financial advisor, we would suggest Gazi to put some of his money into I-REITs like Al-Aqar Healthcare REITs, Axis REITs, KLCC REITs, and Al-Salam REITs, which are Sharia compliant real estate investment trusts, in order to boost his wealth. REIT is like other types of mutual funds. which allow the small investor to engage with low minimum investment. It also can earn the income through real estate rents or mortgage interest payments, which is distributed to the shareholder. Since REITs can be sold on stock market, Gazi can easily buy and sell them whenever he wants. But Gazi should know, due to the limited number of investors who are interested in investing in the REITs, even though its performance was strong, but the share value may be low. Not to mention, by investing in REITs, Gazi can gain benefit from a tax aspect. Tax incentive has been continuously introduced by the Malaysian government nowadays to encourage REITs in the capital market. In other words, the REITs will not be subject to the 25% income tax as long as it distributes at least 90% of its current year's taxable revenue. So, it enables the REITs to share its profit on a gross basis, and most Malaysia REITs disperse at least 90% of their taxable revenue under this tax system. Yes, investor will receive 90% of the rental income from all of those enormous properties, and millions of dollars have been saved on stamp duty and RPGT alone. An investor like Gazi will eventually get dividends on those savings. The dividends paid out by the Malaysian REITs are typically higher than those of other firms. This is why, due to their investment in real estate and their high dividend yield, REITs are more typically viewed as more of a defensive stock. At the end of the day, REITs are a type of investment with their own risk. That's why, as a financial advisor, we suggest Gazi to take real estate investment. So, that's all from me. I will pass next to my friends.
For the zakat planning part, zakat is an obligation of people towards the poor and the needy. Zakat is what helps them in order for the society to continue strive towards goals. It not also purify the world, but it also act as a medium to purify the heart out of arrogance and envy. Zakah that was charged to an individual was based on a lunar year, and a total of 2.5% of wealth is what need to be paid by an individual. Thus, we plan the zakah for Gazi and also Fadilah. For Gazi zakah, the income that Gazi received a year was about 270,000 ringgit, and his expenses was about 10,000 ringgit. Because she has a wife, she has a deduction of 5,000 ringgit from the total amount of chargeable zakah that he needs to pay. He has 2 children, each give 2,000 rebate, which in total give 4,000 rebate, and he also give to his parent 7,000, and 28,800 was deducted for his EPF. So the total expenses for Gazi is about 54,800. Thus, the income that was eligible for tax was 211,200 ringgit, which come from the total income minus the total expenses. So, the total income that was eligible for tax was more than the nisab. So, Gazi was required to pay zakah a year amount of 5,280, or if you want to pay it monthly, which is RM 440 ringgit. For Fadilah, she has an income of 60,000. The expenses that she may use was about 10,000. So the total expenses was 10,000. Thus, the income that was eligible for zakah was 50,000 after deducting the total expenses from the income. So, the total income that was eligible for zakah was more than the nisab, so she needs to pay 1,250 a year or 104 ringgit and 17 cents monthly for her zakah. As for the tax planning, Gazi received income from his employment, which is RM 240,000. Fadilah also received income from her employment, which is RM 42,000. Gazi received income from his rent, which is 30,000, and Fadilah also received income from rent, which is 18,000. That's making the total net employment income for both Gazi and Fadilah is 330,000. So, Fadilah and Gazi request a joint tax account, so we do it both at the same time. Thus the income was added together. As for the tax relief, for self-relief was RM 9,000. They also eligible to have a relief, which is the parent care expenses, amount to RM 8,000. And also wife amount to 4,000. Lifestyle, because Gazi has indeed bought a sport equipment, which will be deducted amount of 2,500. Breastfeeding equipment amount to 1,000 because Gazi and also Fadilah has a baby which is less than 1 year. Childcare fees, because Gazi and Fadilah has children not more than 16 years old, and children 2,000 each because they has 2 children which has less than 18 years old, so they have a tax relief of 4,000, and EPF relief amount to 4,000, medical insurance relief amount to 3,000, check takaful and insurance relief amount to 3,000, and also other lifestyle amount to 250. Thus, the total tax relief that Fadilah and Gazi was eligible was amount to 41,750 ringgit. In summary, the total chargeable income for Gazi and Fadilah is about 288,250 ringgit. It comes from the annual income minus the total tax relief. So, based on the tax rate in LHDN, the first 250,000 ringgit of the income of Gazi and Fadilah was charged RM 46,700, and the remaining 38,250 was charged 24.5%, which is 9,371 ringgit and 25 cents, making the total tax that they was needed to pay was 56,071 and 25 cents.
Thank you, Aiman. Next, I'll be talking about retirement planning of Gazi. It is more likely that as retirement approaches, people have begun to think about their needs, objectives, and goals. Men and women plan at the same rates, and couples are more likely than single people to accomplish their objectives and goals. The majority of individuals may think that saving for retirement is important, but little did they know that they might not be able to save as much as they would like actually. So for this case, for Gazi's case, to college is certainly an important goal for Suzy and Hannah, his children. Gazi should probably focus on his retirement since he have unlimited funds now, I can say, with his wife Fadilah. With generous corporate pensions mostly a thing of the past, the burden is primarily on him to fund his retirement. But if Gazi wait until Hana and Suzy are in college to start saving, he basically will miss out on years of potential tax-deferred growth and compounding of his money. He should remember that his child can always attend college by taking out loans, it's like PTPTN if in Malaysia, or maybe even get a scholarships. But he should know that there is no such thing as retirement loan. And Gazi surely wants to enjoy his retirement when the time comes. He also intended to pay for his kids' college tuition. But how does Gazi reconcile the two in that case? The truth is that he may find it challenging to simultaneously save money for his retirement and his children's college expenses, but he shouldn't give up. With some smart choice that he made now, Gazi might be able to achieve both goals, and in these circumstances, Gazi basically should take his retirement and his children's education into consideration. So next, for his children's education. Suzy is 4 years old now, and 16 years later, she will start her college, while Hana will start her college in 19 years later. Therefore, he needs to save twice as much money because Suzy and Hana don't have a big age gap. For his children's education, he probably should have asked himself on how many years until his child starts college. Will Suzy and Hana attend a public or private college? And if yes, what's the expected cost? Do his child will study in Malaysia or abroad? Or does his child have any special academic talent or athletic or artistic skills that could lead them to get a scholarship? Or does he expect his child to qualify for financial aid? I think Gazi knows what his financial needs are. The next step is to determine what he can afford to put aside each month. And to do so, he'll need to prepare a detailed family budget that lists all of his income and expenses. Keep in mind that basically he will need to decide how to divide his funds. So for his children's education, he should begin by saving away RM 638 ringgit 71 cent per month with 5 annual investment rate of return if he wants to save 1,100 for his first daughter educational cost over a course of 16 years, while with a 5% annual investment return, Gazi should have begun setting aside RM 553 ringgit 39 cent per month for Hana's expected college cost, which will be in neighborhood of 1,100. Therefore, Gazi needs to budget RM 1,192 ringgit 10 cent each month for the education of his kids. Next, his retirement plan. Gazi might begin making retirement preparation right away by selecting what kind of future he wants. He should question himself about what standard of living do he hope to have in his retirement. For example, do he want to travel extensively with his loving wife and children? Or will he just be happy to stay in one place and live more simply? He basically had the choice of leading a simple, modest life. But however, he also has the choice of leading a cozy or even an extravagant lifestyle. But however, he might be able to live a comfortable and even luxurious life if they started creating his retirement plan using his and Fadilah'S money start from now. To maintain a modest standard of living, Gazi must set aside 1,900 per month for future costs that will total around 300. Gazi also may save 409,000 a month, which will cover 8,000 in future demands if he preserves his income, avoid wasting it. And also Gazi should be able to live well nevertheless, provided he can save around 300 and 1,000 per month and budget for around 5,000 for additional needs. Using a 4% annual inflation rate and a 5% rate of return, the cost of the chewy lifestyle will be calculated. His least pleasant lifestyle should, in my opinion, be chosen. Gazi, Fadilah, Suzy and Hana might live rich lives if he started saving money today and stopped spending it on useless items or unnecessary items. I believe that is all from me. Next, I will pass back to Wani.
Alright, for the recommendation and the conclusion, in our opinion, Gazi can increase his asset by diversifying his investment portfolio. Since long-term investors are rewarded, so investing is a patient testing game. The benefit will increase with a long-term investment. Based on Gazi's portfolio, he is a risk taker and he is willing to invest to make a lot of wealth in 20 years before he retires. So, we would recommend Gazi to invest in Islamic Exchange Trade Fund, or we call it as ETF. ETF is one of the investment funds that are open-ended and traded on the stock exchange. It combines the benefit of stock and index funds. ETF hold a variety of securities with the goal of replicating an index performance as opposed to individual shares. Investors can utilize ETF to gain exposure to a diverse portfolio of financial products rather than holding a small number of equity or bond. Gazi can start investing by opening a central depository system, or we call it as CDS account, and a trading account maintained with a broker. For example, Gazi can invest in Trade Plus Shariah Gold Tracker. This fund, it will invest a minimum of 95% of its net asset value, or we call it as NAV, physical gold bars obtained from LBMA licensed refineries in an effort to gain investment returns that closely mirror the performance of the gold market. The remaining portion of the funds NAV will be invested in Islamic money market instrument and Islamic deposit for liquidity reasons. Due to the fund's passive management, it will always have a high level of investment regardless of the state of the underlying asset. There will be two possible returns of investment in ETF, which are capital gain and dividends. For capital gain, investors can trade ETF like stocks by purchasing them at a discount and then reselling them at a premium to make a profit. While for dividend, the ETF basket's underlying equities will provide dividends to the fund manager, and following the deduction of the management charge, the dividend are typically given to the owner of the ETF unit. So in conclusion, investors will have different risk preference. Thus, in order to make investing decision, they need to aware of the risk exposure of investment instrument. Investors adhering to Sharia are more susceptible to risk exposure. Thus, they need to put their money into funds that will also being Sharia compliant, also will carry a lower level of risk. A comparative risk analysis of Islamic and conventional mutual funds is therefore necessary to advise investors about the product with minimal risk exposure. That's all from my group. Thank you.